All right, class. Well, welcome. As we continue practicing right here our architectural lettering with this architectural alphabet handout that we have right here. And again, remember what we are after. Let's see, I'm gonna grab a marker over here. So we have 3 sets right here. At 1/8 of an inch with 1/8 inch space. Okay, now don't write this. I'm just writing this just as a reference. That'd be these right here. Okay. Alphabet and numbers. We have another set right here. All right. 3 sets. At 1/4 inch with 1/8 of an inch space. Of course, alphabet and numbers. And we have our last set right here, which actually it did not fit for me right here, right? So we have 3 sets, right, at 3/8 of an inch with 1/8 of an inch space. Right, again, alphabet and numbers. Now, you probably were able to see right now that I did this lettering right here on the left that you don't need to do it, you don't need to worry about it, but I did do this without any guidelines, right? And just spontaneously, you could say, right? Now, it's pretty legible, in my opinion, right? And again, that's the idea, right? That at some point your handwriting, your lettering can become fluid and spontaneous, right? Without the use of so many tools and guidelines and whatnot. But as most anything in life, it just takes time and practice, all right? So we're not going to do it this way right now, right? We're not going to use our guidelines, and that's just going to be really important. Right? This is the last part right here. We're going to add some title and the date right here, but we're going to do this a little bit different, all right? The way that we're going to do this is we're going to use a pencil. In this case, I'm going to grab an H pencil. We're going to give ourselves the title right here with pencil. And then the last touch will be, we're going to come back with ink, and we're going to go over those same guidelines with ink to make that title bold and stand out. Remember those drawings that we're just taking a look at, Frank Lloyd Wright's drawings, sort of achieve that effect. So maybe by now you have your pen set. Again, this is a pen set that I highly recommend you using. It's actually for lettering. It's more of a crafty look that he has right now, but the tools are the tools, and tools are helpful, right? So if you have this, great. If not, I think most of you should have available a Sharpie, and that's gonna do for you. Okay. So title and date. All right. So title, architectural lettering. And very important, it's very common, all right, that while you're trying to do this, you're gonna eat, or you're going to forget about one letter. In this case, I don't know if you can tell, but I'll point it out. I actually forget about one T right there, and I was able to kind of like stick it in there after the fact, but not ideal. All right, so what I'll suggest you doing anytime that you need to do something important like that is that you actually write it out first on a separate sheet of paper so that you actually have a count of those letters, right? So architectural lettering. Notice that I use my typical day-to-day handwriting just so that it's a reference for me right here. And then I also have the handout. Oh, oh, my handout is actually on this side of it here. That's okay, because we don't need it, right? Or let's see if I can do it about it. Oh, it's right there on the screen, look. So, and I'm using an H. Again, why am I using an H, right? So that it's light, because I'm gonna come back with the pen and make it darker, right? So do it very light. And one of the reasons that you want to make it light is that what if it doesn't fit? You would then want to have to come back and erase it. But if it's too dark, if it's too in there, it just becomes messy. Tech 2. Architectural. Architectural lettering. So as you see, I was going for this effect where it's kind of like shifted over there. Let's see if we can fix that. I'll show you right now. And then over here on the top, I'll put today's date. Go ahead and put whatever date it is when you're working on this, but today is actually the 1st of February. 02 01 22. Okay, so these right there are meant to be guidelines. All right, now what I'm going to do, again, you're going to get your pen set or a fine Sharpie and an ultra fine Sharpie to ink that title right there. So I'm going to use the 0.8. It's the thickest one that I have right here. Let's see how that goes, right? Now this is ink now, so you can't, well, you can erase it, but it just becomes kind of messy. Actually, I would like to do it thicker. Now, okay, so actually this is the something, wait. Before though, in some special cases, right, such as in this one, right, we're actually going to use our triangle. Where's my triangle? And I'll show you how. but it's hiding. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so as you'll see from some of the videos that I share with you, right? And as you can actually see right here, the bigger the letters get, and again, the relevance of the drawing matters as well. It can be difficult to control it, everything just freehand. So what we do is we actually want to use our triangle, right, to do our letters. When craft is imperative, right, that it's ultimately, you know, important that it's as perfect as possible. The first thing that I'll do actually is to fix this lettering right there, since we're going to come back and fix this right here. So now I know that, so let's say that this happens, right? It's like, oh man, I actually wanted this G to finish somewhere over here. Well, that means that I need to pull this, you know, about a letter down. So no worries, right? I can grab my eraser. And actually, I'll use this one right here, my mechanical one. Because again, I'm going to come back with an ink, so I still have a chance to, you know, fix this, right? So, okay, it sucks, but that's okay. It's just pencil. You can erase it. It was not done, you know, very dark, you know, so it hopefully won't be noticeable. Again, be careful, right? I'm going to use my dust brush right here. Do this right there. And I can even grab my 4H and do my guidelines one more time. But again, be careful that they're not too dark. You just want to do them enough so that they're helpful as a guideline. Okay. So I can try this one more time. And again, I don't need to do it, you know, I mean, in order, you know, I mean, I could say, but I probably would, right? I mean, so I'd actually kind of like shift from over here. So I'll put my L over here. So I'm kind of glad that this happened, right? And again, I'm going too hard. Actually, I want to do this lighter. Because it will most likely happen to you once, right? There you go. Architectural lettering. All right, so next, really important, all right? Graph your T-square, graph your triangle. Now this is what we're gonna do, okay? Let me go to a new page right here to show you this real quick, all right? I want you to try this. Go to a new page. Okay. Now, align your T-square on the end of your sketchbook. Place your triangle on top of that, and I want you to slide it. What happens? Well, this becomes another guideline. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this, right, to do all of the vertical components of our letters first, from left to right, so that they're parallel, like truly parallel. Okay, let me show you what I mean right here. The height of this, it doesn't matter. It depends on the size of your triangle, but you do want your triangle to help you define these vertical components of each letter. You ready? Hold on, I can't see. So there's the L. I slide to the R. Here's the U. T. E. T. I. H. H. R. Okay. I'm gonna come back down to the next line. Take care of the G. And again, I'm still using both the horizontal guides, but now I'm using my triangle and my T-square to develop my verticals. And they're completely straight, completely parallel to each other. And again, this part, if you don't have your pen set yet, you might want to be doing it with your Sharpie. Okay, so I have all of my vertical lines inked in. Now you might be wondering what happens to the rest. Well, the rest is done actually without tools. Okay, so we do our best. Remember that we talked about character, how this writing gives character. Well, again, it's sort of that mixture. So we use the tools to give it some technical character, but then we fill in the rest with this playful, I guess you'd call hand quality, human quality. Okay, there we go, architectural lettering. And I'm gonna grab a different pen. This was my 0.8. I'll grab, I don't know, my 0.3. I'll do the date right here. Now these numbers, other than the 1, right? So I'll do the 1 right now. Don't have verticals, so all of it is freehand. But I want to say that the bigger the number, or the bigger the letter, right? The bigger it is, the most likely you're going to need some tools to get it, you know, clean. Or 20122. All right, ladies and gents, and that should take you through the end of the lettering exercise. Okay. I still actually kind of like to see these even thicker, but that's okay. Now, what happens to the guidelines, Munoz? Should I come back in here, grab my eraser, and try to erase my guidelines, especially right here that I have the ink, because I'm not gonna erase the ink? The answer is no. Leave it like that. Remember those drawings that we were looking at, Frank Lloyd Wright? You still can see some of those guidelines. And that's why it's really important that these guidelines, from the get-go, they're done as faintly and lightly as possible. And again, that's why I was using this 4H right here, so that, again, they're very, very light lines. And I don't have to come back at the end, right, and erase them. Because you see what the different lead is doing right here. Even though all of this is pencil right here you can barely see the guidelines. And right here, you can also barely see the guidelines. And what you actually end up seeing is the thicker marks right here of my thicker pencil. Okay, so no, right? I mean, don't come back and erase it. And most of the time, what's going to happen if you do, right? Like for example, right here that I have ink, and if I come back with my eraser and I erase, I'm just going to erase the pencil, but not the ink. I would say just be careful if you're gonna do something like that. Like for example, right here, my R, I don't know if you can see I have that N right there. I would do it just very carefully with my mechanical eraser right here, you know? And that's why you want the first pass with pencil to be as lightly as possible, because, and this has probably happened to all of you, right? At some point in your life, if you wanna come back and erase the heck out of this, I'll do it over here, right? You wanna erase all of this, right? What happens? So you come like this, see what happens? That happens, right? You just ruined your paper. Don't do it. Be very careful, right? You can even tear your piece of paper right there. So again, if you're gonna erase, you want to do it again as softly as possible. You want to try to hold your sheet like this so that doesn't happen. Ultimately, you'll see that in some of the videos. And again, what you might want to do sometimes is to actually tape your work, right? But again, that you know, it's very common that happens. All right. So that would be this assignment right here. Again, the alphabet and the alphanumeric sets, alphanumeric sets, 3 of them each, right? With their guidelines, their title, inking the title final, and uploading that. Now, this will probably take you, again, more than one sheet, okay? So that means that each sheet should have its title and the date, okay? So over here, when I have my next one, like for example, I started another one over here. This one would also have its title, okay? All right, class. Well, good luck with that. All right, be patient. Give yourself enough time, space, and just be patient. All right, class. I'll see you next time.